Hi, I'm Dr. Jenn Anderson. I'm your instructor for SPCM 201, Interpersonal Communication, for this fall 2017. I'm coming to you via video because I had a baby on July 6th. His name's Mercury William Anderson, and he's my second child. And I'll be on maternity leave for the first 6 weeks of the semester. And so our class will be completely online for those first 6 weeks. So I wanted to take a minute to record a video so that I can introduce myself to you, introduce the class to you, and talk to you a little bit about the format for the class this semester. So I'm Dr. Jenn Anderson. I'm beginning my 6th year here at SDSU, and I really love being a jackrabbit. Prior to being at SDSU, I got my PhD at Michigan State University, my master's at Miami University of Ohio, and my undergraduate at Truman State University. All of my degrees have been in communication. I really love communication. I love thinking about how we create messages, how we make and share meaning between people. And I really love teaching interpersonal communication because it's all about how the way that we make meaning impacts our relationships. How do we build relationships? How do we maintain those relationships? And what does it look like across friendships versus family versus romantic relationships or even in the workplace? And how do we communicate with our words or even without words? And so I really love teaching this class. This is one of those classes that at the surface level, it appears like common sense. We've all seen all those advice columns that say, just, what can you do to improve your relationship? Communicate. Well, that's great, but what does that mean? And how am I supposed to communicate with the person that I'm in a relationship with? And what does that look like over time? And how does all of this work? And it's actually quite complicated. And so we're going to learn about a lot of those complexities and those nuances. And we'll have a better way of managing our relationships than just to say, well, talk more or talk better. So this is a really wonderful class, I think, for really a person of any major. And many times I also describe this class as basically learning how to not be a jerk. It's basically about how to listen to other people, how to understand their perspectives, how to articulate your own perspectives. I can't think of anything more important for us a more important life skill to develop. So I really love teaching this class. I also love the textbook that we have for this class. It is written by a former colleague of mine. He was at Michigan State when I was there, Dr. Steve McCornack. He has put together a tremendous textbook. What I love a couple of things about this textbook. One, it's very accessible. It's easy to understand. Number two, it's based on research. So it's not just somebody's opinion about how you should be talking to your boyfriend or your girlfriend. It's evidence-based information about how to best articulate your positions, listen to other people, and develop those relationships. So that's a really excellent element of this textbook. I also really like that he uses real-world examples. He brings in examples from movies and TV and popular music. And he also thinks about how you could apply it in your own life. And so we're going to see some of that in the assignments that we have for this semester. One of the really neat things about that book is that it is available as an electronic textbook. And this semester, for the first time, we're trying out that format, and I'm really excited to see how that goes. I think you're going to really, really enjoy it. For one thing, it's cheaper than the traditional textbook, but for another, it really gives you this online enhanced learning environment, and we're really going to take advantage of that this semester, and I think you're going to really enjoy it. So that's a little bit about the class and a little bit about myself. And so let me tell you what we're going to do in terms of the unique format for this semester. So like I mentioned at the beginning, I'll be on maternity leave for the first 6 weeks. And so what we're going to do in those first 6 weeks is have the class occur entirely online. So you can access the class through D2L, and then there you're going to find the online learning portal that is built around the textbook that I was just talking about. That online learning portal is called Launchpad. And in order to access that, you need to have purchased the textbook. So you can purchase the textbook through the SDSU bookstore. You can get a hard copy, which is just like, it's like a three-ring binder leaflet kind of a thing, loose leaf paper. Or you can just purchase the book online directly through the Launchpad. If it were me, that's probably what I would do. There's a link on the homepage of our course page for D2L, and it shows you exactly where to go. Just to click on that link, say, yes, I want to purchase this textbook through Launchpad, and you can purchase it right through there with a credit card, of course. And then that gives you access to the entire textbook, as well as all of the learning resources that are available through Launchpad. And so that's where all of our class activity is going to take place for the first 6 weeks. So it's really, really important that you get access to Launchpad as soon as you possibly can, because that is where all of our activities for the first 6 weeks are taking place. And there are deadlines for completing those activities. So if you have any issues getting access through Launchpad, please, please, please contact the department head for our department. His name's Dr. Joshua Westwick. His email address is joshua.westwick, WESTWICK, at sdstate.edu. So that's the online portal where we'll complete all of our activities for the first 6 weeks. And let me tell you a little bit about what those activities are going to be, and also direct you to the fact that on D2L, all of this information is spelled out in the syllabus as well as in multiple places on our D2L page. So each week what you'll be required to do is to read the chapter in the textbook that corresponds to that week of class. So chapter 1 is week 1, chapter 2 is week 2. Then what you'll do is you'll complete something called learning curve activities. Those are kind of like a quiz, except that it's a completion-based grade, and it will keep asking you questions until you've answered enough to get those completion points. It's also kind of neat because it's like a quiz, but it's also kind of like a game. So if you answer correctly and on your first guess, you get more points than if it takes you a couple of guesses to get the right answer. You can also give yourself hints, and it also has a little study guide for you as part of that activity. So it's a really nice way to just gauge that you're retaining what's happening in that chapter, what was talked about there. The other activity that you'll have each week is something called making relationship choices. And what I really like about this activity is that it asks you to take essentially everything that you learned from the chapter and apply it to a hypothetical relationship situation. And so I think that's a really interesting way to do that, because it's testing not just whether you retain that information, but whether you're able to actually use that in a situation that would be similar to what you would experience in your own life. And so there is a mix of closed-ended and open-ended questions on that. So you'll actually have to type in some of your responses, your thoughts on how to resolve those relationship issues. So all of the things that I just talked about, reading the textbook, the learning curve quiz/game, and the making relationship choices activity, you'll do those each week, and those are all completion-based grades. So on the Launchpad site, that's different, it's separate from a D2L. It'll record whether you've completed those activities, and then when I come back from maternity leave, I'll take that information and I'll transport it over to D2L. I'll also be looking through and making sure that you did in fact actually complete all the activities. For example, the open-ended responses on making relationship choices. I want to make sure that you actually were typing up your thoughts and didn't just type in just sort of words to make the computer think that you've completed it, right? So you'll actually want to do those activities in order to earn those completion points. I will be back from maternity leave the first week of October, which also will be basically midterms. So that Tuesday that I'm back, October 3rd, we'll take that as a day to sort of get acquainted and review all of the things that you've learned so far in chapters 1 through 6. And then on Thursday, you'll have your midterm exam over chapters 1 through 6, and you've got an exam compensation day in that we won't be meeting on that Thursday so that you can take the exam, which is online through D2L. Then the following week, October 10th, we'll begin meeting in person and kind of going through more of like a regular class. So we'll meet Tuesdays and Thursdays, 11 a.m. to 12:15 p.m. in Solberg Hall, Room 8. And on those days, we'll have activities that you earn points for in terms of class engagement and participation. And then we'll carry that through the semester. We have a final project in the class that we'll talk more about at that time as well. You can find all of this information in the syllabus on D2L. There's also an assignment description for that final project as well if you want to look into that ahead of time. The other thing I should tell you about the Launchpad activities is that there are deadlines, so you do need to complete the work by the date that it asks you to, but you can work ahead as much as you would like. Everything is open and available right now, so if you need to or want to work ahead on any given chapter, you can kind of skip around. Just make sure that you're following those deadlines that are set for each week of content so that you're staying on top of that. So once again, I do want to welcome you to this class. I'm so excited to have you. I'm excited to kind of try out this new format. I really think that you're going to enjoy looking at the textbook in this way and seeing all of the extra elements that the online portal adds to it. If you do have questions about the course while I'm on leave, you'll want to email our department head, Dr. Joshua Westwick, at Joshua, Joshua .Westwick, Westwick, at sdstate.edu, and he can answer all of your questions for you while I am on leave. All right. Thanks so much. I really look forward to having you, and I think we're going to have a great semester.